There's something magical about planning a trip. You imagine the views, the food, the fun, but somewhere between excitement and reality, your wallet takes a hit. Travel should enrich your life, not empty your bank account. What's up, everyone? I'm Dominic, aka FiliSwissed, and welcome to the Buckle Up podcast, where we reflect, unlearn, and navigate the chaos of adulting one bumpy detour at a time. Buckle up because life comes with detours, not directions. Because summer is coming and you're probably planning your well deserved vacation, we're going to talk about the little travel habits that feel normal until you see the damage on your bank statement. As usual, I'm not telling you not to spend on yourself or on your loved ones, but to spend smart. And speaking of avoiding unnecessary travel costs, unlike that overpriced airport meal you didn't plan for, this podcast is totally free. So give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell from our lifestyle finance content. And let me know in the comments, what's your biggest travel trap? Now, let's unpack those travel budget killing habits together. Let's start with the habit of overspending before you even get to the airport. A lot of us buy things we don't actually need as part of the travel prep ritual. But is it necessary? Couldn't we just use that money on the trip itself, especially if you're prone to buying souvenirs to take home? For me, it all depends on where you're going and what you're doing. For our hiking trips in Graubünden, for example, we only need to pack our hiking and swimming gear, toiletries, and other essentials. For the Philippines, it's mostly toiletries and pasalubong or presents because we would shop there. So our suitcases are mostly empty when we fly to the Philippines. When we traveled to Germany with Snickers, we packed clothes for the duration of our stay and according to what we were gonna do, like was it gonna be a stroll in the city or a hike? And on business trips, I do the same and of course not forgetting to count the weight of my work laptop and other gadgets. And the likelihood of us needing to buy something for a trip is small. So, why should we overspend knowing we'll be spending more during our trip? But there's one cost that hits you before your trip even begins: your flight. Weekend warriors, listen up. According to this article on Go Banking Rates, airline prices tend to surge on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So avoid booking your flights on weekends. I mean, I get it. I work all week, and the last thing I want to do when I get home tired from work is to do research for an approaching holiday that should relax me and make me feel energized. But what if you're not just paying for yourself, but also your dependencies like kids or a dog? And if you're keen on keeping some spending money on reserve to actually use on your trip, then maybe this tip can help. We like looking for deals for cheaper flights and hotels or apart hotels. My favorite was staying at a one bedroom suite at the Makati Diamond Residences. It had a kitchenette, cozy and comfy furniture, and a rainfall shower head in the bathroom. So, let's say we want to fly to the Philippines from Zurich. The price for a premium economy return flight with Cathay Pacific is 2,519 Swiss francs per person. That means we would need to pay 5,038 for the two of us. I don't know how much you're earning, but this is why you would book for this trip way in advance. Once you've locked in your flights, it's time to think about what you'll actually spend on location. One of the most overlooked daily expenses: food. Of course, you want to eat out. It's a holiday, but doing it for every meal adds up fast. When we stayed at the Reka Holiday Village at Dicentis, I planned out simple dinners for when we got back from hikes or day trips to Andermatt and Ruhr. It made the evenings feel like home and let us splurge on lunch out instead. Switzerland isn't cheap, so when you're vacationing locally with a dog, a little planning goes a long way. When we're in the Philippines, Germany, Italy, or France, we are eating out for lunch and dinner. Going on holiday is also like a food trip for us, so we make sure our budget takes that into account. If your accommodation includes breakfast, then that meal is already covered. But what if you're eyeing those high end travel expenses that look great on social media without realizing that your budget will be tight? You want that once in a lifetime experience, private island, personalized tour. These experiences often come with a higher price tag. Luxury feels great until your credit card bill doesn't. I remember when hubby and I stayed at Shangri-La Boracay in his first trip with me to the Philippines. I shared with him my memories of staying in Shangri-La, be it in Makati, EDSA, Bangkok, or even in Boracay when they first opened, which has always been positive. Even when we would just dine at Shangri-La Makati for celebrations, it was more than enough. So after hyping hubby up, we decided that on our trip to the Philippines, we'd spend a couple of days at Shangri-La Boracay. A chunk of our vacation budget was spent on that side trip. Side trip. Great experience and great food as always, but I had just started working at that time and I wasn't being sponsored by my parents anymore. That ship has sailed a long time ago. So let's put this into context. We have the price of the return flights for two adults, Zurich to Manila, Manila to Zurich. If we add a side trip again to go back and stay at Shangri-La Boracay, a 2-night stay for two adults for this first room in the list, which is the sea view and includes airport transfer, daily breakfast, and dining credits, it costs 465 Swiss francs per night. The total cost of the hotel would be 2,278 francs and 48 rappen. What about the other days in this trip? Let's say we decide to stay at the Makati Diamond Residences again. So for 12 nights in the 64 square meter one bedroom suite, it would cost 1,586 Swiss francs. How are the numbers looking? Including flight tickets, the total cost without food and leisure expenses would be 8,902 francs and 48 rappen. Still want that luxury experience? Start saving and spread your expenses across several months, like booking your flights and accommodation in advance, so the money you take with you on your trip is your spending money. Final habit is not preparing an itinerary. Spontaneity is fun, but it's also how you end up wasting time and money. Knowing your day to day plans lets you enjoy more without the pressure of last minute decisions. In our trip to Milan, for example, I planned everything from historical sites to old coffee houses. I also mapped where we'd be at mealtime so I could already research local favorites and reserve places nearby. Paris was great since practically everywhere we went, we had great food. A lot of the places we go to don't have an entrance fee unless we want to go to museums, for example. So let's recap. Overspending before your trip, booking flights at the wrong time, eating out every meal, chasing luxury beyond your means, and not planning your itinerary. These are all common habits that sneakily chip away at your travel budget. By being intentional, you can actually enjoy your holiday and come back without financial regrets or resort to eating only salad for a couple of months. Whether it's flights, food, or fancy hotels, don't let travel spending sneak up on you. You deserve a break, but you also deserve to return home with peace of mind and money in your account. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. I'll see you in the next one.